Hello, viewers, and welcome back to the University of Manitoba versus University of Pennsylvania in the CSL League. We're going into Game 2 here. University of Manitoba was taking the first game, and we're able to enjoy a fairly well-played game throughout that was pretty even up until the point where Storm Skills was able to get a pretty significant lead on Jackarith and kind of just take over the game from there. So looking into this draft phase, Van, what do you want to see from the team?
I actually liked a lot of what both teams were doing in the early game. Like if you saw, we saw it, but if anyone's paying attention, the whenever a jungler was on one side of the map, the enemy jungler was on the other side of the map doing like something identical. It was very rare that it was. There was actually only one instance where it became a 2v2 with the jungler and mid laner, but otherwise, like the junglers kind of never met each other, and they were just making cross map plays at all times. So a solo kill would happen here, and then a gank would happen on the other side at the exact same time. And it was kind of really hard to shoutcast in certain moments. But it really kind of came down to just if Jackarith just didn't get solo killed twice, I think the game would have went on for a little bit longer.
So we can see here the bans coming out. We've got the Sejuani ban and the Kog'Maw ban side of Pennsylvania, along with Azir. I think each of those is a really good ban. Azir is maybe more questionable, but the Kog'Maw was really strong last game. The Sejuani was really the pivot point there that was able to get Storm Skills ahead and kind of just hold the lanes down. From we see again the Ahri, the Warwick Gled ban. These are banning one tricks who really like those champions, and so we'll see what Pennsylvania is able to pick up here.
Yeah, their bans have switched up. They had a Galio banned out last time. Oh, and we will take lobby kind of crashed out for a second. And it looks like we're just switching the lobby over. We got to switch the tournament code here. So, small brief delay here. But this technical issue is actually not related to the stream for once. All right.
Okay, so the CSL had given them a new code, so they're going to get into a new lobby, same bans. We'll go from
and we didn't even get to see them hover a pick.
No, so that was a good time for that to happen.
All right, so I'm getting linked the code. Jump into that real quick.
You're right, they left Galio up, so we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if Storm Skills does pick up that Galio and proceeds to try and hold down the team with a little bit of a more supportive mid lane playstyle. We should be able to see what happens here. Coming up really quick, we're getting back into lobby.
I think Pennsylvania played it pretty well up until other than the solo kills, and I think Talia would have been a little bit better in my opinion, just kind of like to match the wave push, and like if you really need to, you can kind of go even with it. And yeah, I guess a lot of that kind of came down to Jackarith just flashing early and not getting the kill on the Storm Skills. And Storm Skills even had flash and heal, so I still don't really think the kill would have went through, even if the stun did land.
He was down to the tens of HP. It was not like it was far off. He just miscalculated his damage and wasn't able to complete that kill, and that really threw the lane a little bit for him.
Yeah. Well, I guess the moment Storm Skills recognized he wasn't going to get hit by the Flash Frost, he doesn't even need to flash. But if he flashed the Flash Frost, then they're pretty much in the same situation, except Storm Skills has heal, and now Jackarith is kind of fully invested as he's already flash forward. That makes sense.
So it really, we're seeing the same bands again, but yeah, it really kind of threw that mid lane laning phase into Storm Skills' way. But Storm Skills was able to capitalize on it. He was able to use his strength in lane to push Anivia in, and once Anivia was just getting solo killed, it was really tough for the University of Pennsylvania to come back to the game.
Indeed. So we're rocking out the same bands, much faster this time around. We'll see what Pennsylvania decides to first pick with. They could deny the other engaged jungler, which is getting a lot of popularity, is Zac. if they want to kind of go with a pretty overall good pick, safe pick. But no, they're just going to go with the Ornn. And it did do pretty well in the last game, other than the early TP. But he came back into another TP and picked up 3 kills and I believe an assist in that fight. So he was kind of able to match Camille after a certain amount of time. And I think that was really, really good for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and I think that the Ornn's a good pickup for them too. I think that he was able to handle the laning phase well against the Camille. I think he was able to kind of give his team engage potential and disengage. Unfortunately, at the end, there were just a couple of pickoffs that caused his team to lose, but I don't think anything was wrong with the pick. I think Ornn still is very strong.
Yeah, so for U of M, they pick up Xayah and the J4. Overall, pretty strong picks. I think Xayah is slowly seeing a bit more of a resurgence ever since COG took a little bit of a nerf in competitive. And I think they should really pick up Tristana here. As you can kind of just get out of the J4 ult, but that kind of gives another target for J4 ult. Like once they're, no mobility, 80 carry is just a nice juicy target. But they pick up the Tomcatch instead.
Yeah, I think
which helps out the Jinx quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that the Jinx picks here really helps out the University of Pennsylvania. I think the last game, if they had the Jinx pick, they might have had a better trading because Sivir just doesn't have the same kind of damage potential that Jinx does. Sure, Jinx is going to hurt in the laning phase. Most of these games aren't decided in the laning phase. So with Jinx involved, as long as they can protect her, you gotta watch out for that Jarvan Galio wombo combo. Like Tom Kench is gonna have to keep Jinx safe, but if he does, the Jinx scaling potential is a little bit harder to handle than Xayah.
So we see some mid laner potential bans for U of M. They want to try and limit that pool, so they knock off the Orianna. And if Pennsylvania decides to play Nivea again, I think U of M would be happy about that. Just ecstatic.
You also see them take Zac out of the jungle pool. So we're coming down in the jungle pool and the mid lane pool. I'm assuming that's a mid lane Galio. Well, we'll see what Jack Rith is able to pick up here for his.
I'd really like to see him on Corki. It's slowly been becoming more and more of a pick again, and it does allow Jack Rith to kind of get out of the wombo combo of the J4 and Galio.
And it does a lot of damage. You look at Infinity.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's so much damage, and it gives you a little bit of a global presence as well when the package is up. So if they pick up Corki, that would be super great. Give you a little bit of poke. It'll give you magic damage. It gives you an escape route. So overall, like I'd love to see the Corki right then. And Janna was banned last game, so now MetLife's gonna be allowed to play Janna this time around instead of usually being stuck on Karmas from the past games I've been casting.
Yeah, so she's able to pick up her signature on Janna there, and we'll see what kind of build she pulls out. Looks like from the Pennsylvania team, we're pulling out an Udyr from the jungle.
And we're gonna have to look at what their last mid pick is here. Ooh, I'm not too much of a fan about this, but I didn't really look too deeply into Jack Rith's pool. But this is a less mobile mid laner, but they're gonna try and go with it. That still does a lot of damage though, if she's allowed to kind of get her way.
This is interesting. They're hovering mid lane picks actually, so maybe the Galio's looking to go top lane. We'll see. Maybe they're flexing it out here. We're not sure. We're just gonna wait and see what they do. They might be baiting us, casters and other team members.
Oh wow! Hilariously, Vlad and Galio can more or less just be interswitched at any time. So, I'm more inclined to think that Vladimir is top lane.
So, in this composition, I think that Jinx and Cassiopeia are incredibly exposed to a Jarvan, Galio, Vladimir kind of engage. Because if Vladimir gets in there with his pool, comes back up, Galio ults him, you can't disengage the pool. You have to just run away in a pool that's slowing you. So that one's going to hurt. Jarvan jumps in, Galio lands on top of him, you can't get out. Again, the engage from the University of Manitoba side is going to be so oppressive against these lack of mobility hyper carries that the University of Pennsylvania is trying to play. I just don't see this working out for them. I wish them the best of luck, but this is one difficult comp to execute.
Yeah, and there's only really 2 damage threats, which is from the hyper carries, the 2 immobile ones that U of M want to just jump on. Uh, and there's a lot of damage coming off from the U of M side as well. Like you can pick pretty much any 4 of them that's not Janna, who can enchant someone else to do more damage. I'm not feeling it, but we saw last game that early and mid game went pretty even overall until the one team fight that really made the big discrepancy. Because it was a lot of small things that were going on, and then eventually that all came together to become one big lead for U of M, and they just took the game over after that. That one team fight by Raptors, Pennsylvania should have disengaged from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they were able to, I think they got three of them, because that was after the Tom Kench had pulled Shyvana out of Oriana's ultimate. So they continued the fight thinking that, oh, Oriana's ultimate's down, we're fine. Just like they did in the last fight, where both times like, okay, Oriana's ultimate's down, we're fine. And they totally forgot about the fact that Kog'Maw was right beside you all, ripping you to pieces. So
yeah,
in this
it came down to like that funnel point where yes, there's vision in the brush, and then it was Slade and I believe Stormscales that was in pretty much the only people they could see. They're like, oh well, we're 4, they're 2. We should be able to turn this around. And in the end, Cog ended up flanking after Pennsylvania invested all the resources into the choke point and onto Slade. And he just kind of cleaned house from that flank.
Yeah. And Xayah can do similar things, where Xayah gets to throw down a bunch of her feathers and then pull them back and rip them through everybody. I mean, you look at 2 or 3 item Xayah, she can just instantly almost one-shot with the Q auto E combo. Just like I expect the Jinx or the Cassiopeia can almost disappear from the screen with the amount of damage Xayah can do very rapidly once she gets her items. But I mean, the same is true of Jinx, right? Jinx gets excited, gets going, she can start pounding through the entire University of Manitoba's team squad, who's going to be right there. So if they don't get the lockdown on the Jinx, if they don't get the lockdown on the Cassiopeia, and they're in that fight. They've dove deep. They're gonna be in a messy 5v5 team fight kind of thing. I expect a lot of deaths in this game again. I expect a very bloody game, just like the previous one, and I'm excited to cast this. I'm looking forward to it.
I think the miasma coming from Cassio is going to be a huge deal. It's just going to stop all of the short range from U of M. Like they have Vlad, pretty short range until he gets maybe if he builds a proto belt, or Galio, like he needs to kind of be up in the front. Or Xayah has 500 range until she presses W, maybe getting a little bit of extra range, but she has to attack minions in order to kind of really push the feathers forward. So miasma placement, it's going to slow down the fight for U of M if really well placed, especially with the grounded effects as well. Just turn it around, like you get grounded, and then you throw the chompers directly on top of that, so it creates this nice wall where they can't really pass through it very easily.
Yeah, it's certainly a very strong kind of not disengaged, but you're not getting out of here once you're in. But as I'm saying with the University of Manitoba comp here, they're looking to jump on top of you. And both teams, Cassiopeia and Jinx, want you to jump in, them to back up, and then auto-attack you and kill you as they go forward. So both teams are really, they're kind of almost playing into each other. It just depends on the execution. If the Jarvan can get on the Jinx, can get on the Cassiopeia, or the Vladimir, or the Galio coming ult, like those will be the really key things. If Galio gets his taunt off in the middle of their team before they throw Chompers and Miasma and all these disengage, if Tom Kench is in that one as well, your Jinx and your Cassiopeia are just going to explode in a wave of spark. Or feathers, a feather storm, I guess I could say. So, it'll be a very interesting game, and I'm looking forward to, I'm expecting pretty intense team fights at the probably 20-minute plus mark.
Hopefully we'll keep track on that one kill a minute mark.
Hopefully, that last game was filled with skirmishes throughout, and U of M was able to garner, I think, a 3,000 gold lead by the time the skirmishes had kind of petered out and we got into full 5v5 team fights, but it was still, throughout the entire game, action across the map. Neither of these teams are passive. They are looking to engage. They are looking to get these kills. They want to accelerate the game. And so, to be honest, the scaling factor, I think, does sit with the University of Pennsylvania. If they can keep going later and later, eventually Jinx and Cassiopeia will just be able to do more damage. But again, it's all one of those, who can execute better? Who can avoid the engage of the Jarvan jumping in the Gal? If Tom Kench can have some clutch kidnaps and keep his carries alive, then they can win the fight. If they don't, U of M's probably going to steamroll. So it's going to be a very interesting game with both of these, the ways that they work together or against each other.
Yeah, and I really want to know how Jackerit's going to play the lane now. Like we saw last game, he was pretty aggressive with the trading, and really wanted to try and like pressure Storm skills, and it kind of was working for a little bit until the obvious blunder. Oh, Pennsylvania looked like they want to try and go for a slight invade. Ooh, they do see Zev here, but gets spotted out. Maybe could have waited in the brush a little bit longer, possibly face check it for no reason. Get a free kill, and that would help start Pennsylvania off. But yeah, if Jackerith, starts to respect Slade, it's like, oh well, he could be around the corner, so I probably shouldn't be playing as aggressive, and maybe sits back a little bit more. Maybe you can still go for those trades after you find out where the jungler is, but I think if Jackerith just kind of sits back a little bit more, plays to disengage or to just hit the front line instead of trying to go for the back line at all times, I think it'll turn out a lot better for Pennsylvania. So I think the pivotal point here is if Storm Skills is going to do really well and pops off, it's probably going to spell the loss for Pennsylvania.
With Jackerith, I think you're looking at the kill pressure is certainly there on him. If he can get an Udyr kind of flash bear slap gank after they've traded, because they've been, or in the last game they had a fairly aggressive trading pattern. If they continue that kind of pattern and they both get low, I think you really open up the lane to ganks like that, because Galio's escape can be very easily interrupted.
Oh, and Slade, he's looking for a level 2 gank here. Directed camera's not taking me over. They want to look bot lane instead. But it looks like Directed camera already knew nothing's going to happen. But that is a flash out of Jackerith. Again, him being a flash, let's just open target, no mobility, and it's going to be rough. They're going to have to drop some vision around mid lane so that Jackerith can kind of farm or play aggressive in peace.
And he's still trading aggressively, even though he doesn't. Gets turned back around him on the Galio here. Galio looks to be going, but the trade ends up fairly even after the poison.
Yeah, and he was kind of also fighting in the middle of 5 minions as well, so it's a little bit more painful for Jackerith right there. But here is Yeti coming right in, jumping on the Mellife. Tornado going on 2 members, and she's just not even gonna bother flashing. But Yeti flashes, forcing Zeb to flash as well. And they want to try and continue to go onto this dive, and there goes the Devour onto Yeti, and because of that, it burns Zeb's heal as well. Slade in the bot side here. He's kind of half health. I wouldn't recommend going into here, but Zev, he's kind of looking, and there goes Andrew flashing forward. Limitless picking up the kill. There goes the reset, and Slade now kind of a little bit of trouble, gonna get stunned up. So a bit of a blunder there from U of M, but well played from Pennsylvania. They just kind of focused down Mellife first, and then Zev looking like he was trying to go in, gets hit by the zap, and then Andrew just flashes forward to go for the slow, and yeah, U of M there with quite a few errors in that fight.
Yeah, so you see Mellife getting caught out there a little bit further in the lane than she was able to be in safety. Was looking for some wards, getting wards down there, so that exact thing wouldn't happen. But the Udyr was there ahead of time, was able to get the first blood, and to get the Limitless a little bit ahead. So with the Limitless being ahead in lane, it's going to really give them an advantage to pressure the lane, to give them better back timings, just control that entire thing as you see them disengage here. But
yeah,
so
but
we'll
they haven't gone back to base yet, so yeah, it's still pretty even for bot lane.
Yeah, they're probably staying, I'm assuming, for BFs, because Jinx didn't get the actual first kill, so she didn't get the bonus first blood. She might be pretty close to BF here, but 22 CS, a kill and an assist.
Yeah, she's got 1100 gold, so she's probably gonna look for that BF power spike. if you can even really call it a power spike, like, I got a BF sword. I got a component.
Yeah. But I mean, when Zaya comes back to lane with a longsword and you've got your BF sword, like right now the gold lead is 500 right there, even just between the 280 carries, which is going to be significant at less than 5 minutes into the game here. As soon as she backs and finishes that first one.
Yeah, and now Slade on top half of jungle, looking for some vision, trying to find out where Yeti is right now. While bot lane kind of gets pushed in, they're like, okay, well, probably no threat of a gank over here. Mid lane's like, oh, well, I'm just going to go buy a tier, stack it up. I'm against the Galio. He's just going to get a natural MR defense, and Galio pretty much only just wants to farm. I don't even think they're going to be able to gank Storm Skills here with Yeti. Overall, I think mid lane should be looking to farm up. Like, you have a Cassio, she just wants to stack tier, get enough mana to just really run people down after a while.
Yeah, it's all about the Udyr. He's trying to gank again here, but there's not a chance. He's got to farm up. He's got to be going. Oh, wow. No engage in the mid lane. Again, just farming. Sorry for the...
800 gold lead here for Pennsylvania. The Udyr is getting a little bit of a nice start. He's got his double daggers, jungle item. Completed? Which one would you say if they upgraded from their talisman or machete to the next level?
Combined, and then you complete it when you get your enchantment of whatever kind.
Yeah, it's not quite a complete, but it's
yeah.
It is combined, but it's also not combined.
Yeah, I guess you're missing the third piece that makes it really do what you want it to do. But you have your tracker's knife over on the side of UM, which is going to give the vision, while meanwhile the Udyr went with Stalker's blade, so he's just looking to be able to chilling smite those guys and really go for the kills. So the Udyr is looking pretty bloodthirsty, while the Jarvan's just going to try and get the vision and play it a little bit.
Slade took a few of his camps away on the top side, and Yeti's kind of just figuring it out now. It's like, oh yeah, that's where the J4 was. Stalking Smite does go on to Storm Skills, and I want to try and jump onto this, but he's just got so many shields. Oh, the slug! Petrifying Gaze going out for the slow, but forcing Storm Skills to flash away, actually. I was a little bit of surprise, but that is a ghost for exchange. And Harrison is taking so much damage. Here comes the heroic entrance. And Slade has joined the fight as well, but Williams pick up the kill on the Harrison, flashing forward, one more auto attack, and Yeti picks it up, but the Hemoplague from Harrison picks up the counter kill, but Storm Skills is flashless here. Great guy trying to flash forward, picks up the kill onto Storm Skills, so 2 for 1 overall in favor of Pennsylvania, and they're trading the bot lane as well. Limitless is going to go on to Zeb. There goes the exhaust, one more auto attack. There comes the Feather Storm. No, it's not Feather Storm. What the heck? Blade Call. Blade Call comes in, and heal goes for Pennsylvania. Overall, just a few summoners blown, but no kill in the bot lane.
Yeah, you see the bot lanes testing each other there. Both summoners out of Zev with the heal, and Flash was used previously, and the heal out of Limitless there. So you're really looking at some pretty intense fights in the bot lane. And again, that's with the BF sword on Jinx. So Jinx's landing phase isn't that good. To be fair, they were in a place where I think all of the feathers went right through their entire body on the way back, so maybe positioning was an issue there, but still a very close, even bot lane, despite the kills picked up.
Yeah, 4 for 1. Gold lead, surprisingly, is only 300 off, so it's less than earlier. Oh, actually, I have my thing rearranged improperly. Oh, okay. I was wondering, like, no, there's no way this Ord only has 9 CS. What is going on? Oh, that's a Tom Kench, I lied. So yeah, CS lead in the top side, making a little bit of difference, but the biggest difference is actually Slade. He's got the 55 CS to the 41, and these are jungle camps, so they're typically worth a little bit more, and it's helping kind of keeping the lead pretty even between the two teams.
Yeah, you see the Jarvan, despite not being able to get in on too many kills, has been able to keep a little bit of CS lead here. So the Mountain Drake is up, and that's where it looks like we have UMB Slade kind of positioning. Looks like he's going for a bot lane gank, perhaps, in the Immobile Jinx.
Oh, looks like being forced to flash, and Jarvan still has the Cataclysm. Now it's going to be up to Andrew to go for the flash, and gets the Devour down, so bot lane does manage to get away, but that is both summoners down, both flashes for bot lane. But Slade doesn't have Cataclysm, so Jackra's going to be a little bit safer now. Even has his own Flash and Summoner spells himself. Storm Skills does still not have Flash from that earlier fight. And now it's kind of up to Yeti's turn to be counter-jungling. And he's looking at the Harrison on the top side while U of M is looking at Dragon. And I believe Yeti got spotted out by the minion wave traveling to the lane. So they know, like, oh, the Udyr's not even here. Let's just get Drag, because it's free. Super Mega Death Rocket just gotta come and tickle Slade over there. As it doesn't execute. Can't execute the full health guy.
She was looking for the execute damage. Dragon didn't quite make it happen. Got a dive going on the Harrison here. The knocked in the air.
And that was a lot of damage that came through. It kind of looked like Yeti was like, we're not doing this, are we? And Great Guy's like, yeah, we're doing this. And they just go straight in for the tower net, and they managed to pick up the kill. So, in the end, not too big of a loss. Petrifying Gaze comes out. Maybe figuring Slade's around in the area, and he actually is around the area. He's right over the wall. And lots of lane priority for U of M right now in mid and bot lane. And look at this tower. It's dropping down pretty low.
Yeah, this is actually surprising based on the early lead they were able to do. Jinx's laning phase is known for being characteristically poor, but they're really losing this laning phase against Janna and Xayah in the bot lane here.
Yeah, even with the early skirmish that gave Limitless the fight, I guess when he didn't back and really greeted for the BF sword, it just kind of went to show that, like, you know what, you should have just went back. You had that 800 gold lead, and now I'm gonna punish you for just essentially staying in the lane for when you should have backed. Had a small advantage, didn't take it, and now there's just a CS lead in the bot lane for U of M.
You can see CS leads across all of U of M too. You can see that the 20 CS lead from Harrison over Great Guy. You can see 10 CS lead almost for Storm Skills over Jackaret. Then you can see the 10 CS lead for Zev. So it's just U of M is being able to pressure and just farming better and keeping them in this game in regards to the gold lead. So they're down right now.
Yeah, and this tower is really, really low. Yeti is running in from behind. He does have Rift Herald, and maybe they're gonna try and punish Zev here. There goes the Chain Choppers, and Featherstorm comes out, but one more stun. There goes the Blade Call. They're gonna try and get a stun, but there is the Monsoon to keep the Yeti away. Will he be able to get that? There's a slow, one more stun. Bear stance, there goes the Bear Slap. They want to try and turn it around, try and pick up the kill on Zev, and that is it. Reset coming through, and Jackaret actually was beating down on Slade the whole bloody time, so now Slade not going to be able to defend the tower much either. And this is they want to try and drop Rift Tails here, get that first blood tower for themselves. Small minion wave here, and Pennsylvania, I'm not too sure what's going on. They really should just drop the Rift Herald. Decided to opt against it.
That's an interesting decision. Maybe they just feel like they're not confident about pushing into the remaining 3 members, I guess.
Maybe. I mean,
I'm not sure.
The reason why I'm emphasizing it is they really should be trying to get the first blood tower because it's so low. Here in the turnaround, Harrison might just end up getting sold out. Oh, and the heal comes out, and Great Guy gonna get baited by the heal, but no, picks up the kill under the tower anyways. Doesn't care. Yeti around the corner, so some interesting skirmishing up on the top side. And Storm Skills is now going to get chunked out right here. They want to try and keep going for it, but forcing Storm Skills to flash again defensively, whereas you really want that flash. You get that AoE taunt right into the enemy team and just kind of clean house, but it's going to be down for him again. So now it's the opposite, where Storm Skills is kind of feeling the pressure and not really having flash to... And this is where Jackaret will want to really play aggressive now. It's like, hey, you're the one with no flash, so I'm going to be pushing up in your face all the time. Try and pull jungle pressure from Slade while Yeti runs around and maybe pick up some farm. He's 3-1-2 for Yeti. Pretty solid compared to the 0-0-1 of Slade.
Yeah, you were able to see Yeti get in there and really make a big advantage around the map. You also see the Great Guy with, I'm going to call it the Ornn outplay against the Vladimir there.
Ooh, Zap lands onto Zev. Would be in a little bit of trouble here. There goes Monsoon coming out. Choppers don't quite land. And it's going to turn out to Mel Life instead, forcing her to flash. And Wilding is going to pick up the kill onto Zev under the tower. One more tower shot. Gets devoured. A Summer Spell heal as well. And now Limitless gonna take quite a bit of damage here, but I think he should. Oh,
Flash.
I'm not too sure about that flash. There's only 2 feathers under her, but playing it safe.
Yeah, I
Don't
guess
want to
they're
die.
maybe
Throw away the
concerned
lead.
about a Slade coming in from the side or something. They didn't have any vision from the river, and Slade could have possibly been in that bush, but they're gonna get first tower out of it just based on the fact they're able to live and survive and kite out that. So you have them with the first blood tower in the bot.
Yeah, and it's not too big of a loss. It brings the gold lead back in favor of U of M, but they still have the Rift Herald. They can drop it somewhere, maybe pick up the next dragon with it, because, well, U of M has to go and deal with Rift Herald. So we'll go pick up a dragon. Yeah, these can go spawn it in the top lane. So it looks like they want to try and make the cross-map play here, possibly before the dragon spawns, and then they're like, okay, well, Rift Herald's shoving top down, and Great Guy doesn't have TP. Harrison does have TP, but I'm really inclined to believe that Harrison really shouldn't, because, well, you're just going to lose that tower faster, and that would be spell some bad news.
You can see the U of M collapsing right here on Udyr, so Udyr might be in big trouble right now.
Yeah, he flashed away, and there's all 5 members of U of M on the top side here. And Great Guy was kind of sitting in his tower, like, oh, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, they dropped the Rift Herald, but we're not on the same page. They're AD carrying the bot lane, and although Tom Kench can get across the map pretty quick, they were completely in vision. Cassiopeia had to stay mid to protect her falling turret, and it looks like U of M is going to try and get the trio of outer turrets here before Pennsylvania can even get one. They're just walking around and getting a bigger gold advantage. They're up 1,000 gold now, despite being down 5 kills. It looks like we're going for another one right now.
Yeah, U of M macro game here is looking a little bit better. They get a dragon in return for that, but they lost a kill, they lost a tower, and it looks like they just should end up rotating mid as well. This tower is also pretty low, and oh, there goes the Demolish, taken down. Stormscale is just gonna punch that tower. It finally goes down, and that's 3 towers, kind of all in the last minute or two for U of M. Really nicely played.
Yeah, you can see them opening up about 2,500 gold lead here, just under. So they're trying to really kind of snowball this medium to medium late game comp that they're working with. So we'll see if they're able to. And that all comes from, honestly, if you want to look right back at it, was Mel Life on the Janna, protecting the AD carry, kiting, getting the W off, using her ultimate, flashing, taking so much of their time. The 3 that were trying to dive the bot lane ended up losing. That caused the first tower to fall, which allowed the bot lane to rotate up to the top. You want to talk about macro play? U of M's been doing macro for the last 4 minutes straight. As soon as the bot lane tower ended, they went top. They were able to cancel out the Rift Herald drop and get a kill in here. Rotate to the mid lane and take the mid tower. That's some really clean macro play, and the shot caller from the U of M really deserves a lot of praise, as does the support from U of M in this case. So just some really good team play happening here. I'm really pumped to watch.
And now, since Baron isn't up, they're probably just gonna look for some. Oh, never mind. Slade was looking for an engage, while the rest of the team's like, all right, well, burner flash for Cataclysm. I got a shorter cooldown, so that's totally worth overall. And I think they're just gonna look for some vision, maybe take some jungle camps while they can. You know, kind of choke your opponent out. Look for Baron maybe, but it's still pretty early. A lot of the tier 2s are still up.
Yeah,
and
I think they can still keep pressuring just like they're doing the comp. It works better for them because Udyr being off at the side lane, it doesn't possess a threat on the carries of Manitoba. Orin on the side lane again, not a threat. So you've got the Galio and the Vladimir. They're gonna punish you if you ever rotate to the mid lane. They'll try and take your tower.
Yeah, and Orin is pretty strong. He's already got the Abyssal Mask, working on a Iceborne Gauntlet, and this is a Vlad and a Galio. So they're both AP, so that means any resist that Orin builds is going to be mostly effective for the solo laners, which is a pretty big deal. And Yeti trying to fight on the Harrison right here, forcing the Hemoplague and the Sanguine Pool. But Andrew catching Slade here, could devour him, decides not to. A lot of U of M members on the bot half of the jungle here, and Pennsylvania looking to defend.
And against that split push, you can just see that the U of M will be the first to collapse because they control the jungle. You see the sight power of U of M in the bot lane jungle with 3 site wards and 3 control wards in that half, they've really got the entire bot side of the jungle is theirs, and that was able to allow Harrison to push up and not be that concerned about getting all in by the gear, because he has vision of whoever's going to come. Looks like we're going to keep kind of doing the siege until we have our Baron up in 30 seconds, or until they decide to go for the Drake here in a little bit. So,
but never mind. If Pennsylvania does manage to pick up a fight, or maybe even like, let's say 2 kills cleanly, there are a lot of towers for Pennsylvania to knock down. All 3 of the outer towers for U of M are still up, and so the Gold League can very easily swing back, because they already have the kills, and the farm is not too far off, except for the 80 carries, and a little bit on the jungle as well. And so if they just pick up 3 towers, 2 kills, like this game's like back on the table for Pennsylvania. But right now, they're slowly, very slowly getting choked out of the game.
yeah, you see the 3k gold lead of the U of M, and they're playing like it's almost, 5-7, just based on the way they're able to control the map, the vision placement, with the way they're rotating their carries. They're just kind of choking the life out here. And the late game comp of Pennsylvania is okay with sitting here and farming, as long as they don't lose too many towers, as long as they don't give too many gold advantages, which they're not right now. Their team comp is still in a position where they can easily win the game. You go 10, 15 more minutes here, you're looking at a 30-minute, a 35-minute team fight. A Jinx and a Cassiopeia at that stage of the game are pretty devastating. So I think both teams are trying to exercise their win condition. Just have to see who's be able to execute this better.
And it's harder for, I don't know, U of M's got a lot of global here with Galio, the TPs as well, and whereas for Pennsylvania they only have, well, the Ghost Cassiopeia doesn't have TP, and they're just kind of looking for Ord on the flank. So it's kind of more up to U of M to make the mistake on the execution of their macro game, while they try and push their lanes and manage to get the chip damage on the towers and maybe farming the jungle camps. If U of M kind of missteps, then Pennsylvania should look to capitalize and punish the mistakes. And if they do manage to punish, it's going to be massive.
It looks like we might get a catch out on the Tom Kench here.
Top does not land. So dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Which one is it? It is
Mountain.
Third mountain? Yes, the third mountain. Definitely way better for U of M to pick up, as they're trying to push the objectives down, whereas Pennsylvania is looking to defend. So both teams are kind of like pretty okay with taking or leaving it, because of the situation that they're currently in.
It's giving a little bit more power over to the comp, but again, as you're saying, the University of Pennsylvania isn't looking to fight right now. They're not looking to, engage. They realize that they're a little bit. They just want to keep farming up. The longer the game this goes, the stronger their comp becomes, and so we're gonna see just how this entire kind of balance back and forth goes. You see the chip damage on those outer turrets, and you see them slowly chipping them away. So if they can cause something to happen here, it's the 4v3.
Stun goes on the slate, and look at that damage. Just like 3 or 4 auto attacks onto Yeti with the blade call, chunking out Yeti. And even a ghost being used by Jackarith. What? Look for a counter engage? No, decide not to go for it. They don't have to. Harrison has been pushing the bot lane. Gets the tower. There's the Proto Belt and the Hemoplague as well. So Yeti gonna get taken out. Let's just say for free, because that's more or less just what just happened. Now Andrew on the collapse on the Harrison. We're gonna land a slow. Rest of U of M are collapsing. Slate is right behind, and there goes the Devour. And here is the cleanup. Great guy coming in. There comes the giant goat through the battlefield, and the zap going on to Harrison. He's slowed down. Gonna finally get taken out. Jack picked up that kill. TP looked like it was gonna come in, but U of M decided to call it off. It's like, no, we're dead. Just try and salvage it. Pick up some objectives. And Limitless flashing over a wall here, jumping on a Mel Life. Andrew also ulting in, slowing down. There's a slow. She has Monsoon still, deciding not to use it and getting taken out. I'm not too sure if she's out of mana or not, but Limitless jumping onto Zev now, and here Stormscale's gonna ult onto Zev and just going off for the damage reduction. Will it be enough? And the flash forward from Stormscales pick up the kill, and Zev picks up both kills. So I guess the damage reduction from the Galio heroic entrance is going to be enough to turn the fight around for U of M.
And so that's the kind of crazy fights we're talking about here at the 25-minute mark, where you see the Jinx just popping off and going crazy on everyone. But then Galio is able to come in, and as soon as you get any kind of C, the Jinx there, or you know, the exhaust and the damage reduction from the Galio, you can see that the Jinx can kind of be countered by these pretty strong CC tanks that the U of M has with Storm Skills and UMB Slade.
So it looks like they're just gonna face take this tower and get their first tower of the game, but because no minions are here, it's going down really slowly. But they do get their first tower of the game, and U of M's like, maybe we should just collapse onto this. Slade's here first. Does have Cataclysm and Flash, but I think he's gonna opt against it. So that's one tower, and 10 kills to 5. Not quite the bloodthirsty game it was last game, but quite a few kills. At least more than there's been in LCS. Those games are real slow.
Yeah, there's a little bit less, or there's a little bit more. You're able to see a couple of the characters just kind of make a couple questionable calls or end up getting caught out. But yeah, you still see the same sort of strong macro here you're looking at. You got the chip damage on the bot tower, is able to take it out. You got rid of the mid tower. The U of M has got a lot of map control right now, and they're gonna maybe start looking to pressure this Baron, get some vision control of the topside jungle, and then look to pressure Baron.
Yeah, and they have quite a bit of damage on top of their 2 mountains, so it's gonna help out a lot. Pennsylvania looking to kind of try and get their vision back. They are grouped up right now as 5. Could be a team fight breaking out really soon. And yeah, it looks like a collapse coming on the Yeti. They're trying to go on to Slade or Storm Scales, but Slade is in the brush here. And here goes the slow range engage, but Slade gonna get knocked up, gonna fail his flag and drag. Andrew coming in for the collapse as well. There goes Miyaza on the backside trying to stop the collapse, but Slade gonna get taken out. Gonna go for the Cataclysm on the Jackareth. And Jackareth is Zonya's A. He's gonna be able to stay alive, but not actually gonna be able to stay alive. Gonna get taken out by Zev. And here comes the re-engage. They want to try and get on the Zev, but flashing forward, Yeti can manage to land on the bear slap, but it's not gonna be enough. 2 more people, great guy gonna finally gonna come in. And now Limitless is just cleaning out house. He's got the reset. 1 more auto attack, finishes the kill, cleans up onto Mel Life. And now Limitless going to go on to Harrison, has the red buff as well. Hanging Pool coming to come out, but it's not gonna be enough. Oh, it leaves him alive for a second. Just red buff takes and picks up the kill. So 2 for 5 for Pennsylvania. And they really, really needed those kills. The ace brings the Baron, and the Baron will bring more towers. And this is what Pennsylvania needed to come back into the game.
Yeah, you're looking at the team comp from Pennsylvania, and this is the exact correct way they're playing it. They're able to get the pick off and have a split team fight where they're doing damage to the 2 engagers, basically, on the University of Manitoba side. They're able to get them off first, and then just turn and get that Jinx reset after reset after reset. She just keeps running through the fights. And that's where they used a lot of their damage to take out the Cassiopeia. But it's going to be one of those difficult fights. As soon as you get rid of one of the hyper carries, the other one's going to try and pop off on you. So yeah, you're looking at some defense now from the University of Manitoba against this Baron buff. And we'll see what kind of strategy the University of Pennsylvania employs with this Baron buff, see if they're able to get any towers here. Their siege potential is... This is the tough part for them. Because the University of Manitoba, if you're grouping for a tower, you're grouped together, and University can engage the U of M. You look like a Jarvan flag drag into a Galio ult, and Vladimir ult, you know, the wombo combo that they're looking for.
As we spoke of the wombo combo, I don't think it's actually happened very often. Storm Skills was kind of pressured in lane quite a bit. Never really had a flash. Never really had a chance to just kind of like jump in and go with Slade. So we haven't seen it yet. I don't think this game. But here, Slade jumping in there. As we speak of it, it happened, and they're gonna try and jump on his Zev. Limitless gonna get taken down. Catching the wrong carries over there, but the fight turned around, and Pennsylvania want to look like they want to try and fight, but they're missing their AD carry, and they're U of M gonna keep going like, hey, just keep going. We can win this fight. And yeah, they pick off. They trade a support for the bot lane of Pennsylvania. So
you
good
can
defense
see
there, good fight.
Right there in that fight, off to the side, the Jacker get full damage off onto Mel Life, but wasn't able to finish off the Zev from the side. So you had, again, diving hard on the 1 carry. The Jinx gets blown up immediately. But the 2nd carry, the Jacker, was able to take it and turn part of it. She wasn't able to continue that aggressive engage. She wasn't able, or didn't feel, I guess, the power to do so. But I think that she probably could have gone in there and maybe gotten a couple kills and then backed out. She chose to flash over the wall and get out safe after losing the bot lane. But I think that what the University of Pennsylvania needs to really look at is understand that you're likely going to lose carries, but that you still have another one. If you can regroup on that one, you can probably take these fights. It can be difficult against the Galio. It really depends, where the positioning is, but I don't think that the University of Pennsylvania needs to back out as soon as Jinx is dead. I don't think that they need to instantly kite and throw everything to the wind there. So U of M's able to stick together to get that full engage, land on the Jinx, everything their comp is designed to do, and kind of cancel out this banner buff.
Yeah, well, there is about, I think, about a minute left, or maybe like 45 seconds left on that Baron. 3 members from Pennsylvania, and it looks like they're gonna opt to farm it out instead. They realize, like, hey, we kind of lost that fight. Like, let's sit back a little bit and wait for UM to make a mistake again. 16 kills to 9, 2K gold lead for Pennsylvania, 5 towers to 1. So there's still lots of towers here for Pennsylvania to take out. But all it takes is the team fight, and the tower's going to be knocking down. Or you can just have Great Guy on his tankiness, and he hasn't died a single time. Taking out that. We're just going to rip some towers down right here, and the gold lead is probably just going to pretty much come back to near even because of that.
So right now at 30 minutes, 31 minutes, you're looking at a 1,000 gold lead, which in the terms of across 5 characters is not significant. And this team these are basically even fights here. Mel might be caught out.
Oh, and there goes the Cataclysm going on the 2 members, and there's the Gallon Wobble combo, and Limitless gonna take it out, so that's a big carry for Pennsylvania down, and Zev is just gonna wreak havoc on the rest of Pennsylvania. They're gonna try and kite and disengage under this, but it looks like Slade came in with the Cataclysm, and it was just big engage, but here they're gonna try and save Jackarith, and they're gonna get taken down instead, and Great Guy's just like, oh man, we have to leave, we gotta get out, and Slow lands on the Zev, but not gonna be enough there. So, Slade, it looks like they were going to try and collapse onto Harrison, but Harrison's like, oh, I'll back out here. Jacker's going a little bit too far over. Goes with Petrifying Gaze, gets only a slow, and then gets engaged on from Slade, and the rest of... again, Limitless does have his flash, doesn't he? He does. Yeah, he certainly has his flash, so I'm not too sure why he's not able to get out of these. Like, he's just sitting in the Cataclysm, and the Galio ult is, it's a big marker. It's not even a particle. It's really hard to miss, so I'm not too sure what's going on. Limitless should be flashing out of these, or maybe he's trying to save it and hoping that Andrew can pull him out in time, but that seems to not be happening, as he's also trapped in the Cataclysm, so it's like, oh, that's really awkward. Now what do we do?
I think the thing you want to look at in these team fights, if you can kind of look at them yourself as a viewer, slow it down there, with the Jackarith, I think you're really missing out on a lot of the Cassiopeia damage just based on some of the choices he makes. Like using his ult in the manner that he did, just to get the slow on the Janna. As soon as you do that, it is a signal to the University of Manitoba that you can fully engage, and this giant ultimate that can totally turn team fights is now down. And as soon as she does that, you see the UMB Slade jump in, you see Storm Skills jump in. It's just the choices that Jackarith is making is kind of, I want to say, throwing the game for the University of Pennsylvania, but they're making it significantly harder for them to execute the team fights with the comp that they have. She was not in the position to get damage across the carries. Meanwhile, you look at Storm Skills, I mean, his champion is sitting in the middle, dealing damage to everyone. And that's because he's Galio. But it's just the kind of the selection of the skills to use, where to position. Jackarith is maybe falling a little bit short here, and it's really hurting the team in these massive team fights.
On top of Limitless having the flash. He has flash, and he's not using it. It's in both fights. He's had it up both times, and Galio's not taunting him. He's busy ulting in, so there is no other kind of CC locking him down, unless it's maybe a blade call that I'm missing.
Oh, I think it was the knockup.
Rooting down Limitless
into the ultimate. But yeah, you're right. Also, I mean, you're saying this about Jackrath. Meanwhile, Limitless is just getting one shot at the beginning because he's not positioning directly either, right? So, I mean, I'm not trying to throw it all on the mid.
Yeah, and so here comes the engage. We're gonna try and go to Zeb, and there goes the Featherstorm to get rid of the slow. Redemption coming out on the backside, and there's the Limitless finally flashing out, and now he's gonna turn out damage to the front line, and they want to try and go possibly for a re-engage here. Limitless in a pretty safe backline. Oh, Harrison flashing in, going for the. Oh man, he just picked him off right there, and U of M with a nice turnaround. Zeb taking a few tower shots, but they're finally gonna take out Great Guy for his first death, and that is a huge win for U of M, 3-0, when it looked like Pennsylvania could have turned it around, but the blade call going on to Limitless and chained off with Harrison flashing in, picking off Limitless right there.
The massive Galio taunt there, able to get pulled off onto Jinx, get a ton of damage on the Jinx, and then have the Vladimir come in and finish the Jinx off was able to fight. Limitless was able to flash over the Cataclysm at the time, but wasn't able to continue to position in a safe manner behind her Great Guy and Yeti.
Yeah, I think it was a taunt into the blade call that rooted, and then Harrison flashed in.
Oh, the blade call, yeah.
Yeah, the blade call, and that was just a bunch of chain CC. It's like, oh, Limitless can't move anymore. Get the Jinx, get the Jinx. And Harrison's like, oh, well, I'm probably going to die through this, but he ends up not dying. Flashes forward, pick full charge E. I don't even, Tides of Blood?
He had used his, the Tides of Blood. He'd used his ultimate, the Hemo Plague, on the beginning of that fight, but it hadn't worn off by the time that he jumped in, so he had the damage flyer still on the team. And I think he threw it against 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, Cataclysm going on, but Limitless is on the outside of it, so they're going to try and put the damage on the front line, but Jackrath is the one that gets not ulted down. But here's the Runan, the crits are coming through. Limitless want to try and clear the fight, but there's just so many shields, and U of M just running forward like, hey, you've lost one of your damage threats. We're going to clean up the house. Jackrath with no flash, and U of M just, hey, we picked off one of the carries. They have 2 damage threats, 1 damage threat down. That's 50% of your damage gone, and we're going to run it down. This should be the win for U of M, as they have the Baron buff and there is no one to defend for 30 seconds and they're already in the base. So, yeah. Pennsylvania, with a nice try here, looking like they were doing pretty well in the early game, but in the end, it just wasn't enough to take down U of M.
Yeah, they were just not giving enough respect to the massive flag and drag Galio ultimate combo we talked about at the beginning of the game. We talked about the keys to success for both teams, and University of Manitoba was just able to execute on a higher level than the University of Pennsylvania was able to do. That comes down to individual skill, practice as a team, just being prepared in each and every aspect of the game. But yeah, I really like and I'm proud of the way that both teams fought. The University of Manitoba is remaining undefeated in their group, so they're going to be getting out of this group for sure. And this comes as well as our Division 1 team also was able to pick up the win. So we've had 2 wins today. All Manitoba teams are still undefeated in the play. And we're probably going to be able to get another interview with one of the victorious University of Manitoba members. We'll see who is able to do that after the game is round up here.
So